Yes, I think it's audible now. I was
It's
supposed to
better, sir.
talk to you
Yes,
about
sir.
holistic and multidisciplinary education as it is proposed by NEP 2020. Uh, so far, I made an attempt to convey the significance of education in molding a responsible citizen and a personality, and what can be done with the help of education and how it should be devised. Originally, what is this holistic education is all about? Education is broadly concerned with building human character and capabilities that enables the realization of full potential of oneself and the civilization. Holistic education seeks to provide an inclusion in to a balanced, inclusive, and comprehensive worldview that will serve a cause including but beyond personal self. This is what I already said. Holistic education is to make the students' overall total personality by inculcating education which is the cognitive knowledge, attitude, and action oriented thinking in every individual, which is not only for their personal gain and self development, but for the entire world at large, society at large, community at large, people around him at large. What is the objective of this holistic education? Why it should be done? How can we make it holistic, total, complete? The objective of holistic education is to make the students to learn themselves. The first and the easy, most pertinent question is make them to realize what they are, why they are there, what is expected of them. This is a tough task. It is not as simple as I am telling. This makes the students self-responsible, self-disciplined, self-motivated. This is what the missing link today. Most of the students are not motivated. There is no reason for them to attend the classes. Empty classrooms have become a new normal. You are familiar with the word new normal after COVID. Empty classrooms has also become a new normal these days. By force, if you make them to sit in the class, physically they may be present. Their span of attention is reduced. After 20 minutes, they cannot be present there both physically and mentally. Therefore, first make them to understand why they are there, what are their responsibilities, what the society expects from them, what the parents expect from them. These things must be made clear. This is what the objective of holistic education. First, we must make them to love the nation, love the mankind, love themselves. Many students don't take responsibility of themselves also. A small failure they cannot tolerate. The suiciding tendency, the attitude of negative thinking, depression. To get out of them all this, we need to get them to understand themselves. To learn about healthy relationship and socio pro relationship. Pro social relationship means positive relationship with the society. Many people are socially disconnected, particularly because of this COVID-19. In the name of privacy, in the name of isolation, we have cultivated a mindset among the youngsters to enjoy privacy. Loneliness is what many people prefer these days. They are not comfortable in the company of others. They are not comfortable in the gatherings where there are different types of people speaking different languages, speaking different interest areas. World is not the same, but these days young students cannot find it comfortable to be in the company of others. because COVID-19 has cultivated a mindset of privacy, and privacy has become a disease these days. And once again, we need to bring them back to the society. Social connectivity is missing. In academic circle in psychology, there is a concept like social fitness. Physically fitness, they may be fit. Mentally, they may be fit. But social fitness is missing these days. They cannot be comfortable in the company of others. They become depressed by seeing people around them. Therefore, healthy relationships and pro-social behavior is the objective of holistic education. Social awareness and social sensitivity, development sensitivity. Many people don't know about the realities of the society, poverty, unemployment. Until they complete their course and come out of the colleges, they cannot understand what are all these issues. If you ask them to speak about the Indian society for 10 minutes, I'm sure 80% of the students in the class are not capable. They are not capable of talking about the Indian society for 10 minutes. Ask them the very foundational issues, fundamental questions about the Indian Indian politics, democracy, constitution for that matter. They don't know. Why it is? We have not allowed them to think other than the boundary of the subject for which they are meant for. Engineering means engineering only. Nobody prevented them from understanding problems of the society, characteristics of the politics, monetary policy of the country, legal system, constitution, human rights. But they think I'm a good engineer because I got 100% marks. I'm a good commerce graduate, good MSc graduate, without all this. Therefore, we need to develop social awareness and social sensitivity among the students. Ability to manage emotions. This is another important thing that need to be inculcated through our programs. Emotionally competent graduates are supposed to be produced by the universities, because the present days students' emotional quotient is very weak. A small pressure, small tension, stress, anxiety can do disasters these days. That too again because of the social media, the mobile handset in their hands, and the speed in which the society is going, and the results that the parents and the society expects from them. Every parent expects their children to be achievers. Every parent expects their children to be great adventurists. Is it possible? Where to teach? Whom to teach? That is another question. The stakeholders need to alter themselves. That is the objective with which new education policy is introduced. Develop resilience. Resilience means ability to fight back, ability to face the struggle. That attitude needs to be developed through holistic education, and ability to appreciate the truth. What is truth? That must be appreciated. A truth lovers, will never go wrong. Accept the truth as it is. If you want to make the change, bring the change. That is what the educated behavior of anybody. Therefore, holistic education has these issues as the objective, and the purpose of the new education policy is to contribute for the total development, overall development of the personality by inculcating these factors into the course curriculum, course content. How it can be done? Let us see it fast. I'm not elaborating every provision of the NEP 2020. Wherever it is possible, let us dwell upon this. If you have any questions, you can ask questions. You will be knowing NEP 2020 was approved by the Central Cabinet on 19th July 2020. Afterwards, there was a big debate. Many people come out with good suggestions, and some modifications were also made. And Many states have incorporated that in India with changes, without changes, as it is, things like that. But the ultimate objective is to devise a course content that is future oriented. Because unless you think about the future, there is no point in running any college or any university programs at all. Because education is the only source with which you can face the future challenges. To substantiate my saying, I have taken a quote by Alvin Toffler, who said once, to help avert the future shocks, we must create a superior industry. And to do this, we must search for objectives, methods in the future rather than the past. However glorious our history was, however colorful our past was, if we keep on talking about the past only, we are going to miss the future train. Therefore, education must always shift into the future tense. What's going to happen tomorrow? What will be the future of the job market? Believe me, there is a saying, by the time our children who are in the schools and colleges come out of the colleges and schools, they are expected to work on jobs which are not yet born. I repeat, our students who are in the colleges and schools, by the time they come out of the courses, they are expected to work on the jobs that are not yet born. New type of jobs are going to be born in the light of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and robotic technology. The nature of the job, the contour of the job market is going to be altered, wherein we need to undertake different type of responsibilities as human beings. There is a need for the future employees to learn how the machine works rather than learning how to make the machine to work. Machine learning need not be about learning about the machine, but we have to learn to work with the machine. Work with the machine. It is not our ability to use the machine, but it is our ability to understand and cope up with the speed of the machine. That is going to be the future. We need to prepare such students who are both physically, mentally strong to rise to the future challenges. A vision of education, new education policy 2020 also speaks about the need for multidisciplinary and holistic education. What is the vision of the new education policy? I'm making it very precise. An education system that contributes to an equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality education to all, high quality education to everybody, and the creation of a knowledge society is the objective of the vision of NEP 2020. It is to develop a deep sense of respect towards the fundamental rights, duties, and the constitutional values, bonding with one's country, and a conscious awareness of one's role and responsibility in a changing world. All these things cannot be attained only by focusing on one simple subject that we are studying as the core subject. You may be a science graduate studying chemistry, physics, or botany as a major subject. Along with that, you are expected to study something that makes you to inculcate your personality about the fundamental rights, constitutional values, country's culture. All this can happen only when, along with the core subjects, we make them to understand the other subjects. That is the reason under NEP, we have introduced different type of papers like discipline specific, interdisciplinary courses, skill development courses, proficiency development courses, program specific courses. To develop a sense of respect towards the fundamental rights, duties, and constitutional values, bonding with one's country, and a conscious awareness of one's role and responsibility in a changing world. This is what the vision of NEP. Followed by that, instill skills, values, and dispositions that support responsible commitment to human rights, sustainable development, and global well-being. See, holistic and multidisciplinary education. What is multidisciplinary education? Multidisciplinary education is one that involves the study of different domains, different disciplines of knowledge. Some of the classifications that we have made are all for our convenience. We have grouped subjects into knowledge, into arts, science, commerce, etc. But knowledge is knowledge. Knowledge is power. That power has been demarcated as science, commerce, arts, etc. To be a perfect individual, to be a responsible citizen, to be a happy man on the earth, we need to have knowledge in toto. It is not part by part. Life is not concerned with any single subject. It is not component based. It is the sum of the total that makes life. In life, sometimes we need to think as a philosopher, sometimes we need to think of a marketer, sometimes as an economist, sometimes as a socialist, sometimes as an engineer, sometimes as a scientist. You need to assume different roles in life to be comfortable. True education, if it is aiming at making the man, creating a perfect individual, again, perfection is an ideal situation. Absolute perfection is impossible. But our journey towards it is one that uses at least the minimum knowledge, minimum quantity of the input related to different disciplines. Anybody today cannot say that I don't know the law, traffic rules, human rights, fundamental responsibilities. We must know all this so that a minimum of law is essential for everybody, irrespective of the field to which he belongs to. Banking, insurance. You can't say that I need not have to study this if you want to be comfortable. Basic engineering, basic automobile. If you don't know the basics of automobile, you cannot drive your vehicle these days. Therefore, multidisciplinary approach to education is one that connects, that establishes relationship between different domains or different fields of knowledge, connecting arts, science, commerce, and other disciplines together to make a course. The new course curriculum was devised keeping this in mind. Why the new policy? Needless to elaborate, NEP 2020 is designed to contemplate the current skill requirements to strengthen the youth power. This policy was introduced after a lapse of 34 years. Our earlier education policy was developed in 1986. The new policy has taken into account the latest developments happened in the field of science, engineering, technology, politics, and the total lifestyles of the people. It is based on the Sustainable Development Goal number 4, developed by UNO to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promotes lifelong learning opportunities for all by 2030 for inclusive economic development. Inclusive economic development means same type of economic benefits for all the people, irrespective of their geographical, economic, and political status. Wherever they are, every Indian, every citizen of the world, every citizen of the world must get the benefits of the modern technology and the development happening. That is what inclusive economic development. It should not be confined to one set of people. Keeping the poor as the poor and the rich as the rich has no meaning as development. Development initiatives must give results to everybody. That is what the objective of NEP 2020. The new education policy Objectives of this new education policy. Ultimately, what they wanted to do with this, why this multidisciplinary education? The basic objective is to remove the rigid boundaries between the course content. Science, arts, commerce is not a watertight apartment or watertight compartmentalization. Let there be connectivity between the science subjects, arts subjects, legal subjects, and commerce management subjects, etc. Let there be constitutional studies in engineering courses. Let the doctors also know about the constitution, nothing wrong. Let there not be boundary to say that you should not study this or you should study only this. Opening of choice and preferences for everybody. There can be an opportunity for selecting the type of the course one likes. There must be preference of the student to consider while giving him the credit-based allocation of subjects. The objective is to reduce the dropout rate and improve the gross enrollment ratio. As I already mentioned, it is to make it 50% by the end of 2035. Encourage mobility of students from one program to another program, from one institution to another institution, if possible, from one state to another state without any destruction or disturbance into his course of study. Encourage mobility. Credit recognition, accumulation of credits, transfer and redemption of credits through the creation of academic bank of credits, ABC. This is the objective. Seamless mobility within and between institutions and disciplines is the objective of NEP. Along with this, the principles of NEP lies with recognizing, identifying, fostering unique capabilities of each student. Here comes the importance of our class is special. They may be good in something. Inadvertently or because of circumstantial pressures, they may be admitted to our course. After joining a course, if he is interested in taking up something new, something that he likes, why should not we offer him that? That is the spirit. A person who takes up a science subject may be interested in understanding Indian philosophy, may be interested in studying Indian culture, may be interested in literature, may be interested in studying income tax, commercial tax, may be interested in understanding digital marketing. A science student can be allowed to take up subjects in arts, commerce, law. A commerce student may be interested in understanding the basics of chemistry, basics of physics, basics of computer science. Let there be interconnectivity between the subjects so that students' interest can be fostered, students' willingness to get into other disciplines is encouraged through multidisciplinary approach. No hard separation rule, multidisciplinary and holistic education, emphasis on conceptual understanding, creativity, and critical thinking. See, these are the three most important outcomes expected from the education system through NEP 2020. Creativity, critical thinking, and understanding. Most of our students are reproducing answers in the examination hall. We are making our students answering machines. Don't expect the students to produce or reproduce the answers given in the textbooks. Students must think critically, come out with analytical presentation of their understanding, which need not be in the same way as authored in the textbook that we are giving to him. That is what originality and creativity in thinking. In order to make that to happen, creativity to take place, we need to encourage the students. Say, for instance, by reading a novel, by reading a drama, by practicing a skill, one can become creative, one can become interested in the world affairs. Why should we allow them to do that? Let there be scope for a student who is studying law to take up music, a student who is studying commerce to take sports as an elective subject. Let him go as a trainee for some instruments. This is what the emphasis on the NEP 2020. Promotion of multilingualism. Let there be opportunity for students to learn more than one or two languages. Language is the power. Give them opportunity to learn more languages. Promote skill-based education. Soft skills, hard skills, there are enough. There is no time to elaborate all this. New power and leadership styles. Make the students to acquire new power and leadership styles. We need leaders. Ultimately, through education, what are we trying to make? We are trying to develop leadership skills among the students. We need leaders everywhere, not only in politics. We need academic leaders, spiritual leaders, sports leaders, scientific leaders. To become a leader, there must be some stories that are to be told to them. Allow them to read the biographies, autobiographies of others. Let there be a credit for reading about the great achievers in the field of science, philosophy, commerce, literature, etc. That will make them to become leaders. Use of artificial intelligence, it is inevitable. You cannot say that I am an art student, why should I think about artificial intelligence? Whether you are art, science or commerce, future is going to be dominated by artificial intelligence only. You must learn to use artificial intelligence. We are all using our mobile phones, smartphones rather. Future is going to be so smart. Without smartphones, without artificial intelligence, you will become somebody like an illiterate. You have to acquire this. Make your students also to learn that. Learn it effectively. Learn it in a way that can be used constructively and productively for achieving better results. Followed by this, equity and inclusion. This is also a principle of philosophy. Equity. We must make our students develop a sense of equity. And the course that we are introducing through this is light but tight. Light but tight. Why it is said, when we say study anything that you like, it appears to be very easy. But it is also difficult to select a subject that really contributes for your interest, inclination, and intentions. To make that to happen, both the system and the students need to be mentally educated. And infrastructure-wise, it must be improved. Universities, to offer these programs in this way, necessary preparations are to be made. Colleges are to be properly designed to initiate this multidisciplinary approach of education. Otherwise, the conventional form of restricting students to study only the selected subject prescribed by or compelled by the authorities will not help us to take the benefit of these multidisciplinary subjects. That is the reason you need to think like this. What are the silent features of this NEP? NEP is an outcome-based education system. Outcome, result-oriented. After the course, you must be able to understand why you have studied this and what has happened to you. What has happened to you? What has happened to you means, have you become something different from what you are before joining the course and after joining the course? Value addition. Value addition is the most important concept that we need to remember. Say, for instance, after listening to my lecture, what has happened to you? Have you acquired one or two things that is significant for you, or have you forgotten some things, or whether you got confused, whether you are disturbed? That is what outcome. Don't teach simply as a formality. It is not a transaction. It must be a transformation. That transformation must be seen in the form of attitudes, behavior, thinking, critical thinking, problem solving, socializing. This can happen only through multidisciplinary. When a technical subject is supported by literature, thinking will be different. Creativity cannot be automatically infused into the minds. It can be developed through stories, novels, readings of additional contents. Present day students, they are good in computer. Their spoken English is good. Any language for that matter, they speak well. When it comes to writing, their situation is pathetic. I'm sure most of you agree with me. Writing skills of the present day students are pathetic. They cannot write a sentence properly because there is no need for them to write. Most of the students are dependent on xeroxing, copying rather. Taking a photo with the help of their mobile phones, copying, getting xeroxed. They don't write anything. Notes writing is not at all practiced. As a result, when they are supposed to write in the examination, they cannot answer. I have seen 32 pages, 50% of the pages in the answer scripts these days they are using in the university system are empty. But the student says, I did very well in the examination. These are the problems. Therefore, outcome-based education aims at improving their writing skill, thinking skill, problem-solving skill, interpersonal skill, socializing skill, fluency in talking, comfort in the company of others. These are all outcome-based education objectives. Critical thinking and development of real-life problem-solving skills. Real life. Say, for instance, our present-day graduates are not that comfortable to go to a bank and do some transactions in the bank or in the insurance office because there was no need for them. That too, with the digitization, everything happens at a click. They don't know the external system. And most of them are not comfortable in traveling in a government bus. They are not comfortable in traveling in government normal, sorry, all the trains are government trains as of now. Things will change in future. Present day, they cannot travel in the general bogie. They are not comfortable because they are not trained like that. Extensive use of the technology in teaching and learning is to be done. We need to use different methods of teaching. COVID-19 has taught that for a new disease, old medicine is not a solution. Disease is the new. You have to come out with new medicine. The present day students' problems are plenty. I'm grateful to all the teachers who came out with some description of the students. They think they are very smart, which they are not. Students think they understood everything. No, their ability to interpret is zero. They may reproduce it. They can recall and reproduce. They cannot think. If you make a small twist in the question, they say it is out of syllabus. They are too mechanical in understanding and reproducing. We have to devise something to solve this problem. There is no point in blaming them. They are our students. We are designated to solve this problem. We have to come out with some solution. What is to be done? NEP 2020 has come out with some suggestion. They are suggestions. The successful implementation of that suggestions will give the result. For that, we need to mentally prepare. We need to equip ourselves. We need to devise the tools properly for that. We need to take our students for a local tour to see the life of the nearby villages. We must take them to the field to see the diversity of the plants and the greeneries outside the college campus. We need to make them to have a look at the diversity of culture in a country like that of ours. That can happen only when we plan accordingly and the management of the colleges and the administration of the university are also required to come out with infrastructure for facilitating this. Then only it will happen. Vocational courses to enhance the technical skills. Vocational courses, say for instance, income tax is a subject that is essential for everybody. Computers is a subject for everybody. Yoga, today only we have celebrated the International Yoga Day. Yoga is essential for the present youth for both mental and physical fitness. These are the subjects that we have to extend to all students irrespective of their course of discipline to which they belong to. Empowering the students to become experts in problem solving with the discipline knowledge and other related skills. With the discipline knowledge, how can they solve the problem? Most of our students will never use their knowledge for problem solving. After passing the examination, they will forget everything because the type of jobs that they are getting and the courses that they have studied, about 80% of the time, there is no relationship unless they become teachers like I and you. They are not going to recall what they have studied in the colleges. Therefore, there is a need to make them to understand how the subjects they are studying in the college can be interpreted to different situations in life. Family management, say for instance, to become a successful leader outside, one must be a leader of himself. Self-leadership, we say. Self-management, we say. One who manages himself can manage the world, we say. Motivation, self-motivation. Discipline, self-discipline. Say for instance, strategic management, we say. In management, the simplest example is strategic management or general management is one that makes us to look into the total problem, not one single problem. The best example of our mothers. The best example for this is our mothers without any knowledge of multidisciplinary or holistic education. They were managing the entire house consisting of finance, HR, marketing, legal, cultural, ethical, human rights, everything they are practicing. But today, such a total personality development is not happening due to various reasons in the present social system. We have to create an ambience where our youngsters are exposed to all sorts of things in life that will make them confident to face the problems of the real world. Real world problems are not subject specific. Followed by this, empowering the students to become experts in problem solving with discipline knowledge and other related skills. That's what I said. Holistic education, a comprehensive approach to impart education where educators seek to address the emotional, social, ethical, and academic needs of students in an integrated format. Emotions, sentiments, economic, social issues must be integrated. There is no need for everybody to be good in English. There is no relationship between intelligence and fluency in a language. But many a time we have mistaken that one who speaks better English must be intelligent, not necessary. There is no relationship between the background from whether you are an urbanate or a ruralate, whether you are from an educated family, uneducated family, whether you are a boy or a girl. Gender discrimination has no role to say that somebody is intelligent because of this. Intelligence is nobody's property. Therefore, we must come out with a system wherein everyone is recognized, everyone is encouraged. Somebody who may not be good in football may be good in cricket. Somebody who is not good in cricket need not be considered as useless because everybody appreciates cricket. But somebody may be good in kabaddi. Somebody who is not good in English may be good in Kannada or his mother tongue. He may not be following mathematics, but may be good in singing. identify the area where he is confident, where he can contribute, where he can exceed. That is the spirit of multidisciplinary approach. Let there be provision for that. Multidisciplinary approach is one, defines problems beyond and outside the boundaries. Beyond and outside the boundaries. With the help of various branches of knowledge to arrive at a solution for complex problems through new understanding. New understanding. Complex problems need to be understood properly. Why the child is not happy? Why the student is not regular to the class? Why my students are not enjoying my lecture? What is wrong with them? What to teach them? I may not be able to teach them everything that they like, but I can direct them that this is not the place for you. You think of something else. There they can become masters. There they can do something great. That is what the spirit of multidisciplinary approach to education. The expected outcomes of multidisciplinary and holistic education. What are we expecting? I'm making it very precise. If you have anything to add, you can question. It is to get an integrated social and academic maturity. It is not only academic maturity must be supported by social maturity. You can understand what is these two things. Instill curiosity and originality in thinking. Education is not to mug up. Education is not to make the students to memorize. Education is to make the students to think, not to define what. It is to make them to think how and why of things. How it happens, why it happens. That is the thing. Lifelong learning through planning and prioritization. Multidisciplinary and holistic education aims at lifelong learning. If you love a subject, that becomes a passion. That becomes part of your life. Throughout your life, you can enjoy that studying. You will not learn for examination purpose. That is what the beauty. Developing flexibility and creativity in problem solving. Flexibility. See, the approach to look at the problem varies from discipline to discipline. From mathematical angle, if you look at it in a poetic angle. From poetic, you can look at it in a psychological angle. From psychological, you can look at it in a business angle. For a psychology student, for a business student, for an economic student, the same problem may appear to be different. So that based on the different consideration, they will come out with solutions. Developing interpersonal skills to develop and maintain and value relationship. This is the most important for students these days. They are not respecting the relationships. They take relationships as just business connectivity. If they are happy, they will continue. Otherwise, they discourage. The number of divorce, the number of parents who are made to go to the old age or orphanage centers, is because of this attitude of the young generation. They are not emotionally respecting the relations of their elders, people who have supported them, people who have helped them. Therefore, teaching interpersonal skills to develop and maintain good relationship is also part of good education. To practice continuous improvement and high resilience. Don't think at any point of time, I know everything. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is a sarvajna among us. All of us are learners. You should believe that what I know as the latest today will become outdated tomorrow and history day after tomorrow. Before I become a history, if I want to be updated, I have to fresh up every now and then. I have to change. An open mind for change, is always a good preparation for facing the problems of life. Accept the life as it is. Change it if it is in your reach. What you cannot change, accept it, reject it, forget it, you will be comfortable. Practice continuous improvement and high resilience. Develop effective communication. Most of the time, Communication need not be all the time in terms of writing, in terms of speaking. It also in terms of how to keep mum, when to keep mum, facial expression, body language, emotional expression, sentiments, when to say what, when not to say what is also a skill. All these things can be taught through multidisciplinary and holistic approach to education. Followed by this, holistic and multidisciplinary education are based on certain ideologies. I have listed out three most important components. The philosophy of multidisciplinary education is that every individual finds identity, purpose through connectivity with nature and other human beings. The philosophy is that every individual finds an identity and purpose through his connectivity. We must get connected with the nature and the people around us. Whether you are a lawyer, engineer, doctor, professor, artist, writer, how are you connected with your environment? How are you connected with your society? To get connected, you should know where are you, what are you, who are all the people around you. That is the philosophy of multidisciplinary education. The concept of multidisciplinary education is it integrates multiple layers of meanings and experiences rather than defining human possibilities narrowly. It is the system that determines how its parts works and not the sum of the components. The aim is to develop holistic personality, holistic and absolute personality. The tools that we can use for this multidisciplinary approach are transformation, connections, transdisciplinary inquiry, meta learning, communities, curriculum, and pedagogy. Please cooperate with me for a few more minutes. The tools that can be used for multidisciplinary and holistic education are transformation approach, connectivity approach, transdisciplinary, interdisciplinary. Though you are a scientist, think as a poet. Though you are a poet, think as a mathematician. That makes the beauty, that leads to originality, that leads to creativity. Followed by this, the challenges. Now I am talking about the challenges of introducing the subjects. Developing a support system is the need of the hour. Simply I can say about all this, but we should come out with a proper system. Restructuring of the program is yet to happen. I was also chairman of the NEP commerce related subjects at the state level. And it was really a learning experience for all of us to devise the courses through NEP and the changing situation of the government, industry, business, etc. Therefore, you need to restructure the programs, admission management, giving choice to students, allotment of courses, preparation of timetable is also the biggest challenge in the colleges and the university. Uncertainty with regard to intake of students to different subjects will also a problem to be addressed while introducing the subject NEP. Documentation, preparation of timetable, evaluation and maintenance of assignment papers, attendance, evaluation, along with the training and placement is also a real tough issue for managing these subjects. Despite of this, if you have the mind of doing something different from what you are doing, you have to enjoy with that. Multiple subjects to be taught at one go. That is the spirit of diversity. There is no substitute for diversity. The greatness of India lies in its diversity. When there are different types of people, different students belonging to different area, interest, etc., creativity will emerge. When the science students interact with art students, and both of them with commerce and law students, and education students, a physical training student, definitely that will contribute for their holistic overall growth. Therefore, education is ultimately to create a complete man. I'm at the fag end of completing my presentation. When you educate anybody, as teacher, all the time, I wish you to remember what Abraham Lincoln said once about education. He said, educate my child such that he gladly accepts victory and defeat equally in life, understands that a dollar earned by hard work is more than several pounds. Teach him not to be ashamed of the tears that falls on being unsuccessful. Make him to have a strong faith in himself, even if the whole world is against him and call him mad. Teach him to laugh. Teach him to laugh at the time of misery and rise above the feelings of happiness and sorrow, defeat and victory. Make him to have pride in his own deeds, even if the whole world goes against him. Then only he will accept the greatness of humanity. Make him to have pride in his own deeds and able to believe in the greatness of humanity. Humanism is the ultimate objective of all our efforts. Ultimately, our students must be taught to be good human beings. This is all about the